Today's topic is strategies on community development. Just a reminder, we are with Englewood Enterprise Gallery. You can reach us at www.englewoodenterprisegallery.com or email us at enterprisegallery@gmail.com. That's 773-719-9848. So, welcome to the show. As I said before, we have Val Free, who's with the Planning Coalition. Val, we'd love to hear about what you do. So tell us about where you're located, what you do, and your role in the community. And then we'll discuss a little more about community development.
Well, I'm the executive director of the Planning Coalition in South Shore. It is a community organization. Basically, at this stage in the game in our organization, we're organizing. We're just bringing people together to talk about issues, to get thoughts, to bring plans together. And we do that through two different mechanisms. We do that through our Block Club initiative, which is called the Southeast Side Block Club Alliance, and then our South Shore Works initiative. So what we have the Southeast Side Block Club Alliance, which is in different neighborhoods: South Shore, Calumet Heights, South Chicago, Grand Crossing. Did I miss one?
I think you covered them all.
Yeah, South Deering. Okay. And so the goal is to have each of those neighborhoods have a hub where block clubs meet and talk about housing, economic development, education, health and wellness, youth, and public safety.
Okay. All right. So tell us about a little bit more about the block clubs, about and South Shore Works. How are those initiatives different, and what they do for community development?
Well, they're not so much as different as they complement one another. Okay. So South Shore Works is a initiative that's focused strictly on South Shore.
Okay.
And in those different compartments that I just named, from housing to economic development and all of them, we have experts who already live in our community that we have asked to lead the community in those areas. So for housing, we have housing experts. Education, we have education experts. And so we're saying, hey, let's bring the community to the table. Mm-hmm. Let's take these people that live in our community who go outside of our community and do everything but what we need them to do here, and give them a reason to, not necessarily give them a reason, but kind of wake them up and shake them up.
Okay.
In terms of working with, our community.
Great. That sounds excellent. Now, how long has the Planning Coalition been around?
That's a good question. The technical name is the South Shore Planning and Preservation Coalition.
Okay.
About 5 years ago now, 4 years ago now, I was organizing, and the group that I was organizing with was called the South Shore Neighborhood Network. And we merged into the South Shore Planning and Preservation Coalition. Okay. Well, the name was too long, and I had interns and mm-hmm. all of that who would call it the Planning Collision. So we changed it to the Planning Coalition.
That's something that we do in our culture.
Right. So
shorten things, right?
Right. On paper, it's been around for almost 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Cool. I think almost between 15 and 20 years.
Now, tell me a little bit. You said there are initiatives. How important are these initiatives and the Planning Coalition to community? Your role is in that community development.
Well, I can definitely just speak for South Shore. So, mm-hmm. community development in South Shore is crucial. I mean, we are looking at disinvestment on every hand. Currently, we do not have a grocery store. When at one time we had one. Right. And it was not a grocery store that didn't make money. Actually, it was one of the top grocery stores in the city under the brand of Dominic's. Okay. With 2013 and 14, we lost 4 anchor businesses.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that was a lot within maybe 6 months. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so we're constantly seeing that, which is causing another problem in housing, where young people who we need to move into the community will not move there because we don't have the amenities that we should have, and that's due to us as taxpayers. So, you know, there's a huge redlining situation that's happening, as well as there's just not enough activism going around to keep these issues at the table. So this is why we're organizing block clubs, so that we can keep these issues in front of our elected officials, and as well as tell our story, because our story isn't being told right.
Okay, we just want to remind everybody, we are the Englewood Enterprise Gallery at www.englewood.enterprisegallery.com. You also can email us, enterprisegallery@gmail.com, 773-719-9848. I would like to remind anybody who would like to call in and have questions for Ms. Free, you can do so. Now, Ms. Free, what I wanted to ask you was, okay, so is community, so did the problems come first, or did the planning coalition come as a reaction to the problems that are happening in the community and the disinvestment? And then tell me a little bit why it's important to have groups and organizations like the Planning Coalition.
Okay, the problems were already coming. They hadn't fully manifested like they are now.
Okay, right. So 2013,
that was just the manifestation of an underlining of the problems that were happening. So the problems were there. It wasn't as if South Shore always had like a bulk of nice restaurants and places to go. They didn't. I mean, I was the lady that lived in a community that drove to South Shore Drive and turned left and went north, you know.
Right.
And didn't have a problem with being okay with spending my money in another neighborhood until I just kind of took the red or blue pill, whichever one it was.
Okay. We're going to stop for a second and answer the caller. Caller, how are you? Do you have a question?
Hello?
Hi, give us your name and can you tell us your question, please?
Yes, my name is Mary Medina Sr.
Oh, how are you, Mr. Medina?
I'm good. Unfortunately, I'm not tuned into the show, so I'm not familiar with the subject matter that you're discussing. But if you could tell me...
Sure. We're discussing strategies about community development. And we have Ms. Val Free on the show, and she is one of the organizers of the Planning Coalition. She's the director of the Planning Coalition in South Shore.
Okay. Well, Ms. Val Free, you say?
Ms. Val Free.
Val Free.
2 names.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Val Free. Ms. Val Free.
Yes, sir.
Yes, I would like to know if you have a strategy in mind or envision a strategy that could bring about development in some of the more distressed communities, such as Englewood and West Garfield Park. I have some background in community development in West Garfield Park area.
Okay.
And I think Englewood demographically is very similar. I would like to know what your thoughts are on development areas like that.
Okay.
I'm not clear on the question.
So the question, Mr. Medina, we want to make sure that we get clear. You want to know more about strategies in distressed areas like Englewood, and you would like Ms. Free to speak on that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I don't really know much about Englewood and what a strategy would be for Englewood. I know people who live in Englewood, and I know people who are developers in Englewood. So from what I see, Englewood is growing. So I wouldn't say what a strategy would be for Englewood, but I could definitely say a strategy for South Shore is that we need to organize and build our base and hold our elected officials accountable to reinvesting, making sure that investment comes into our community. I cannot really say for Englewood because investment is coming into Englewood, so that would be...
Well, I think continued investment is a good response to Mr. Medina, and that and then I think we have another caller. Caller, are you there? Could you give us your name and your question, please?
Good afternoon. Val, I'm so happy to see you on CAN TV. Your work in South Shore is legendary with the Planning Coalition, and welcome to the new studio. You probably don't recognize my voice, and I'm going to keep it that way till next time I see you. But here's my question.
Oh, no, please share.
Did you call it? What's your name? I'm sorry.
I'm not going to share it.
Oh, that's what you said. You're not going to share.
Okay. What I've noticed in the work that we do in South Shore, through the Planning Coalition, through EFOS, through CBA, that just went up in smoke, is that a lot of us get burnt out. And we get burnt out fast. And what I notice is that there's a few people that are really pushing and really working for the betterment of the communities. But how do you think we can sort of spread the workload around? Because many hands make light work, right? So I'll get off and let you address that on the air. And again, welcome to CAN TV.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, caller. While you ponder that question, we're going to remind everybody that we are Englewood Enterprise Gallery. We are at www.englewood-enterprisegallery.com. enterprisegallery@gmail.com is where you can reach us. And you can also call at 773-719-9848. This is the Shy Rise Show, and we are focusing on business, arts, technology, and community development. Today we're talking about community strategies, and the caller just addressed Val Free of how to avoid burnout from people who have been on the forefront and that sort of thing. And then once we get through, we'll have our next guest.
Well, I think one of the things that needs to happen is you need resources. The Planning Coalition is a 100% volunteer organization.
Okay.
And you get burnt out easily when you are really operating from a deficit. It can happen, but for me, it's more of the vision that drives me than anything. Mm-hmm. However, fundraising is huge, and this is not a fundraiser that I'm not on here for fundraising, but resources do help change the game in terms of even moving things forward. Resources do help motivate people to come to work and get things done when they don't feel like it. All of those things help, but more than anything, if you have a plan in front of someone and they're a part of that plan, they bought into that plan, that could drive them as well.
Okay. Well, thank you, Val Free. We love having you on CAN TV. Hopefully you'll come back. We're discussing community strategies for community development, and what Val Free is the Planning Coalition. She's the director of the Planning Coalition. She works on the initiative with South Shore Works and the Block Club Alliance. Okay, our next guest is coming up soon. We now want to remind you that Englewood Enterprise Gallery is at www.englewood-enterprisegallery.com, enterprisegallery@gmail.com, 773-9848. I always say dot. Now our guest is Dr. Jihad Muhammad. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr.
It's my pleasure.
So Dr. Muhammad is the CEO of the Medical Forensic and Anatomical Reconstruction Scientist. It's a mouthful. So he's of the African Scientific Research Institute. I'm going to say that again. Dr. Jihad Muhammad, CEO of Medical Forensic Anatomical Reconstruction Scientist, and he's at the African Scientific Research Institute. I'm never going to get that right, so I'll let you you say it. Now tell us a little bit about who you are and what you're doing.
Well, my name is, as you said, Jihad Muhammad, and I am the Chief Executive Officer of the African Scientific Research Institute.
Okay.
And the African Scientific Research Institute is a multitude of things, community development.
Okay.
But we take a different approach. We have a more innovative approach to community development in the sense that we work from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up to Cairo, Illinois.
Okay.
And that is called the Delta region.
Okay.
Which is a federal designated area for creating jobs. So mainly what we do at the African Scientific Research Institute, our core competencies are community development, research, tourism, and travel as well. Also we does the African first generation burial ground research.
Okay.
We're only interested in first generational of enslaved African burial grounds because that allows us to be a community.
Right.
And we work only in the rural areas.
Okay.
We don't deal too much in urban setting, but we follow the dirt people. And the dirt people were the migration of Africans moving out of the south into the north.
Okay.
We follow those routes. And so what we do is build tourism sites in each one of these rural areas that we work out of. So far, we are building 4 sites in 4 states at this moment. Mississippi, Louisiana, Missouri, and Cairo, Illinois. Why Cairo, Illinois? Because Cairo in the 1800s, 1700s was basically, you had to come across the bridge in order to come into the land of Lincoln.
Okay.
Which was the land of free people, supposedly.
Okay.
All right?
We have a caller, Dr.
All right.
Muhammad. And so, caller, hi, welcome to the show. Please tell us your name and your question, please.
Yes, my name is Steve. I wanted to ask a question with regard to the sort of double-edged sword that is community redevelopment. As we found from New York to Los Angeles, there have been successful efforts at community redevelopment. However, it seems that the more successful entities are, that sometimes the very community which they seek to help ends up being priced out of that very community. In other words, when a community is developed, businesses are brought in, property values go up, schools become better, all things that people would desire in terms of community development, prices go up, and people that once could afford to live there can no longer live there. They're effectively priced out. How do we create community development that doesn't effectively turn a community into some place where its existing people can't live?
Okay, thank you, caller. So I think he's speaking to gentrification, which is the term I'm going to use, where community redevelopment occurs, but at that time, the people who live there, after the community redevelopment, if they're successful, they're no longer able to live there because they can't afford to. Usually redevelopment is associated with buyout of community development. So I think that's a little off topic, or what do you say to that, Dr.?
Well, as I said, we only work in rural areas for a particular reason.
Right.
And, but, we started off, I'm the author and the archaeologist that work on, and the anthropologist, rather.
Right.
That worked on the DuSable excavation. Right.
You're a forensic anthropologist, correct? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. And so we do community development in the rural, but basically we don't build housing. We renovate slave quarters.
Oh, okay.
So that the community people can have income coming when we bring tourists to them.
Okay.
So we take slave quarters in Louisiana and we turn those into bread and breakfast.
Okay. Oh.
And so we train people how to become entrepreneurs by working with the SBA and also with the USBA.
So these people, do they participate? So they participate in the business end of the.
Well, what happened is that we go into communities and then we help develop the community through organization development.
Okay.
But then we have our own organization. Then we have our own people there to support them.
Okay.
But we are looking to build new entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Okay? So we're not looking for people to join on with us.
So your role is to build entrepreneurs as a way of community development.
Absolutely.
Okay. We have another caller, Dr. Muhammad. And so caller, are you there? Please state your name and your question for Dr. Muhammad, please.
Well, I just have a general question. I just appreciate you guys for having a show like this where a person can ask questions directly and get some answers.
Okay.
My name is Mark, like I said, and I definitely understand what Dr. Muhammad was saying about building economics, basically in rural areas. But I noticed a lot, like in Chicago and these urban cities, how the regentrification is not including the people who occupy that same area. But in like places like Englewood, like I go through every day, I notice, the police, they have police over there all the time and security over there all the time. But then when you go to places like Hyde Park and Wrigleyville, you don't see that same presence of the police everywhere. And it's like no criminal activity. And then like places like the University of Chicago, you see special police officer just to protect the white people over there. I don't understand that. And people in power, like the doctor and like different aldermen and stuff like that in the black neighborhoods, I don't see anything they doing for the community. Could you give me your take on that?
Okay, thank you, caller. First, we're gonna just go and let you know that the Englewood Gallery has open houses. This was our last open house, was June 26th. Next open house, please go to our website and our webpage, Englewood Enterprise Gallery, www.englewood-enterprisegallery.com, and enterprisegallery@gmail.com to contact us, 773-719-9848. Now, Dr. Muhammad, he's mentioned, thank you, caller, for mentioning, both of our callers are actually speaking to what happens during redevelopment. One of them stated that, and I don't know if you see this in your redevelopment, if you see one where there's separate communities, so you're definitely working in the rural area, but I'm sure is there still segregation as far as?
Well, that's one reason we're working in the rural areas. I mean, black people don't have it, and so my job is to build economic development by, stimulating new entrepreneurs.
Right.
But they have to go through the course with the SBA.
How long is the course?
Well, it numbers. I mean, it could be a year long.
Okay.
But you go through and get certification.
Okay.
That's the key.
Now,
you cannot do business unless you're certified to do business.
Right.
So we don't even deal with you unless you go through that particular thing. But we sponsor our people.
Okay, that's the.
So I make sure that they go to these courses, and when they come out, we train them to be tourist interpreters of their own history.
Okay.
Okay, and we drive tourists to the sites.
Right, that's similar to what Beauty Turner did when she was. Beauty Turner is one of the founders of the Ghetto Tours, the greatest history ever told to ours, and she did Cabrini Green style tours.
I know her.
Oh, so you did know her, So that's, but she was an early economic development.
Absolutely.
Back to the caller that was speaking to redevelopment. He said something about that we were priced out, but economic development would be the short answer to your question. Dr. Muhammad, this is not enough time to get into everything you do. If you would like to have some closing words, we're going to wrap up.
Yes, I would, and because there are certain things happening. Because of what we are doing in the South, in the Delta region, we work with the federal government, and that's what you have to do. You have to work with people that are able to help our people advance themselves. We're about doing for self.
Right.
So we're not looking for you to give us anything.
Right.
We develop that within ourselves, but we do say that you go and you take these courses where many people go and pay to become MBAs. They take the similar courses, but we're looking to get you certified. We are also working now with the country of Haiti.
Okay.
Because that's all a part of the Delta region.
All right.
So the people who are located in the Delta region in Louisiana are Haitian descent.
Okay.
So now we have a tour that we are getting ready to develop for 2017 with the ambassador of Haiti to begin so that they can go and gather up.
All right. Well, Dr. Muhammad, next time we'll have you on. We'll let you talk a little bit more about Haiti. Once again, it's the Englewood Enterprise Gallery. This is the Shy Rise Show. You can www.englewood-enterprisegallery.com or contact us at enterprisegallery@gmail.com, 773-719-9848. Thank you for joining the show. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad.